Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk. Here I have the Samsung B3410. Just to do a quick unboxing for you. This device is also known as the Samsung Cool B Plus and also the Samsung Delphi. So we're just going to have a look at what's inside. First of all, we have the user manual right on top, which just going to see if there's anything else in here as well. So there's a user manual, there's a warranty card, and there is it's more from your mobile, which covers things like accessories and downloads, and actually the manual itself. Manual is fairly lightweight reading, not an awful lot in there, probably just more in terms of getting started than anything else. Handset itself, which we'll come back to in just a moment. And then we have a headset. Which has a proprietary connector on one end, pretty typical Samsung. We see many devices that have this type of connector. It is only Samsung that have that. Then we have an inline microphone with a push button, and the push button is to answer and hang up your calls. The microphone hole is just on the back. Then we actually have the headphones themselves, which aren't very good, to be perfectly honest with you. We've used these almost identical headphones on other Samsung handsets. They're very lightweight, very plastic, and they don't sound very good. Generally speaking, when you have connectors like these on headphones, you don't expect to see a 3.5mm headphone jack on handset, but fortunately we do. But obviously comes to that in a moment. But if you want to use an actual headset, you have to use this with the special connector. Otherwise, you can use your own 3.5mm headphones, which is cool. Here, the adapter itself again has that proprietary connector, which obviously plugs into the handset. It's a UK 3-pin plug. That's all there is in the box. No other accessories, no CD-ROMs, nothing really else, anything else to actually show you. So we'll actually take a look at the handset itself. On the front, we have a 2.6-inch display, which is 240 by 320 pixels, so it's a quarter VGA. Reasonably large loudspeaker on the front. A couple of keys underneath. There's the phone keys on either side and then a menu button in the centre. The hang up button also does act as the power button. Over on the left hand side, I have an up and down volume control rocker. Then there is a lock button. Holding that down actually just unlocks the handset, and pressing it once just turns the display off and locks the handset. Then there is a voice recording button, which we can press to actually record voice notes, that sort of thing. Nothing really to speak of on the bottom. The actual microphone is just on the lower portion on the front there, rather than on the bottom. On the right hand side, we have a dedicated camera button and a cover over that connector, which is where we plug in our headset or the charger itself. There's no USB cable supplied, so if you want to connect it up to a computer, which I'm sure you can do, you'll have to buy an additional USB sync charge cable so you can actually copy your media to and from the handset, which is a bit of a shame that it's not in the box. I'm sure they're not expensive, which is kind of why it's a shame that it's not there. You'll have to go to eBay or something to get one. On the top, we have a 3.5mm headphone socket, so we can use our own headphones, which I'm sure you're going to want to do rather than using the ones that are supplied. I'd definitely be going and using my own headphones with this handset. Also an eyelet on the top. We can connect a phone charm or a lanyard, anything like that actually just goes in the top there. Over on the back, we have a 2-megapixel camera, no flash, and it is fixed focus, not autofocus, so kind of on the low end there, that camera. The back is probably shiny enough that you could probably see your own reflection enough to take your own self-portraits, and then there's a little grill there for the loudspeaker. Pop the back off like so, and that opens up. We have the battery already in place. We've got space for a micro SD card, which according to the spec I'm seeing here only supports an 8GB micro SD memory card, not 32 or 16 SDHC memory. SIM card obviously goes in that space there. Battery is already in place. We'll pop that back in and put the cover, close the cover. Let's just power up, and while we wait for that to turn on, show you the QWERTY keyboard. It's a reasonably sized QWERTY keyboard across 4 rows of keys. The keys are fairly large and reasonably tactile. They make a fair tick as you actually press them, and they are a decent sort of size. The number keys are along the top row, and you get to those by pushing the Alt key to get to those, and also the red buttons or the red symbols along the keys for the Alt keys. So not a bad size of keyboard, and the handset itself is well, it's fairly light and sits quite nicely in your hand, so using your two thumbs for texting and messaging will work quite well. And there's the cursor keys over on the right hand side here. Nice to see that the space key is also in the middle of the handset rather than set to one side, as we're finding with some of the Nokias with the QWERTY keyboards. So it's nice that it's in the middle. So it has powered up by the looks of it. Yes, it has. It's asking me to actually insert a SIM, which I'm not going to do. But we've got a fairly typical Samsung arrangement with the TouchWiz interface. We have the keypad, and we actually have a nice capacitive touchscreen requiring just the slightest touch to make that work. So that is very, very good. We can clear that, and obviously we can come back to the home screen. Have a series of widgets down the side that we can pick from, so we could take the clock and actually put that on display, or we could have a digital clock as well, and we could put that on display, and if we don't want them, we just slide them out of the way. So it takes the sort of standard widgets that we've seen on many other Samsung handsets. So we've got Facebook, MySpace, and Fun Club. We've got some games there down the side. Not sure what the hat's for. We have media controls, those sorts of things down the side. I wonder, probably you can download others. There's a calendar there, so you can install the calendar. It's telling me that I need to insert a SIM card, obviously, which is what it's displaying over here. There is only one pane, or one panel if you like. I can turn the widgets on and off at the side, but there aren't multiple tabs or desktops, or whatever you want to call them. It is just the one, so you've only got a limited amount of space where you can actually put your widgets. Go to the phone book. Obviously I don't have a SIM card, and I don't have any contacts already put on here, so it's basically complaining about those facts, so we'll just skip back through there and into the menu. Again, the menu is pretty normal if you like. We have 12 items there. Messenger settings, there obviously applications, and we've got things like FM radio, Bluetooth, games and more, stopwatch, and a few other bits and pieces in there. If I push that button, it goes back to the home screen, and I could go back into the menu. They are the only items, so I can't scroll around to anything else. That's all we actually do have, so pushing that middle button seems to actually take us back. From here I can get to the keypad, phone book and widget, and go back to the widget screen, well, home screen as I would call it. So that's a very, very quick look around the handset. In terms of the rest of the specification, well, let's talk about the size. 102mm from top to bottom, just 52mm wide, and just under 16mm thick. Doesn't weigh an awful lot, 113 grams, feels quite lightweight. The screen does seem quite small. It is 2.6 inches and it is quarter VGA. But on the handset it seems quite small. We can obviously see that there. It seems slightly lost on the handset, where we expect to see the screen take up much more of the sort of area of the device, certainly the front of the device. Typically now we expect them to be almost the whole of the front of the display. So the screen itself seems quite small in comparison to others. But the keyboard is pretty decent, and the mechanism is actually quite good. It's very positive. It doesn't feel too loose, and obviously it's spring loaded, not too bad at all. Well, only 30 meg of built-in memory, so if you're going to use this to any great extent, I'm sure you're going to want to get yourself a memory card, but don't forget it does only support up to 8 gig microSD memory cards, not the 16 or 32 gig microSD HD memory cards that you can get now, according to the specification I've got here anyway. We have Bluetooth 2.1 with A2DP support, but we don't have Wi-Fi, and sadly we don't also have 3G. It is only a 2G phone, so we don't have 3G or HSDPA or anything like that, so connectivity is somewhat limited. It is quad band though, so when you're roaming you actually will be able to use the voice calls and the GPRS connectivity pretty much wherever you take it throughout the world, so that's pretty good. So that is a very quick tour of the Samsung B3410. We'll have a full review for you over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. On Twitter we are Tracy and Matt, and on Facebook we are tracyandmatt.co.uk if you want to check out our fan page. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk.